Hello to all my friends out there. So I'm working. What I'm doing is I'm going to the thrift stores and I'm scouring around for stuff that I sell on eBay. And I was telling my son there's been an evolution. Yesterday I found a wedding dress for $10. And I was telling my son, I've always bought small dollar items. Why not, since I don't need stuff, why not buy only large dollar items, like spend $10 for something you might sell for $150, as opposed to items that you would maybe only double your money on. So you can't find them as easily. You can't find good stuff very easily, but since I don't need stuff, and say if I had 10 wedding dresses, that would be much better than right now in a thrift store. A pair of used jeans is $5. And you'd be lucky if maybe you can sell them for $20, even if you get brand new ones. And so I'm looking for plus size clothes. And I've been shopping. One of the followers said, what do you think about plus size clothes? And I thought, yeah, that'd be really good. Well, guess what? I've been shopping. I'm in a thrift store all day, all week. And I have not found, since the day I found the 15 things, I haven't found anything. So you have to buy the stuff when it's there. So I'll be looking for high dollar items. I was in the thrift store and this guy was telling me, on an old ship, he found it was like a mermaid thing, and he bought it for like $60 and he sold it for hundreds of dollars. He buys big stuff like that, but I don't want to load that stuff around or pay storage. And I do the auction because I don't want to pay for a store. So it'd be much better. I have right now 50 free posts per month. So if I had $100 items, it's harder to sell them though. And then the rest of my stuff, it's cooling down here. So I'm going to probably try to sell that at the swap meet. And when I do, I will do videos. So I wasn't worried about, and I will try to find women's dresses, because if you've ever said to yourself, well, I need a dress, I think I'll go to the thrift store and I'll find myself a dress. You can't easily find dresses. And it's important to know, if you're selling, that most women are size 14 and up, and size 14 is considered a plus size. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working. Okay, this week I've been doing the swap it outs, and those are coming along nicely. And why those are important is that's how you can use your stockpile. So let's see, I made, out of tomato paste, I made ketchup, and I got that recipe from Jan from New York City Saves Money. And it's a budget type, show, but it's got a lot of really good ideas on it, for all kinds of money saving ideas. Like right now she has a video up there, it's called Sale, Sale, Sale. So if you guys might want to check that out. And then my ketchup was so tasty, I added milk and I made tomato soup. So the thing that was so good about this is if you stockpile tomato paste, my videos are mainly prepare for anything, and that will save you money. But if you have tomato paste and you have evaporated milk, then you're always going to have tomato soup. And tomato paste is a lot cheaper than a can of tomato soup. And you can make your own tomato paste by cooking your canned tomatoes. I've been buying the big cans, so what I want to do is start swapping my big cans of tomatoes out for stuff. And then I make coffee creamer milk, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and so finally I figured out how to do it. You just take 1 cup hot water to 1/3 cup coffee creamer, and that gives you a cup of milk. And I made macaroni and cheese. It tastes better with evaporated milk, but in a pinch, that would be good. The other thing that's good to swap out is egg replacers, but they're terrible in scrambled eggs. But you can use them in baking, and then that saves you from running out of eggs or having a rundown and go to the store because you want to make some cookies in the middle of the night. That's happened to me. French toast was good with the coffee, cream, or milk. And then I made milk tea, and that is really tasty. You know, if you drink tea, it's very cheap as opposed to soda pop. So on the milk tea, all you need is 1 cup tea, and then I added about a 1/4 cup evaporated milk, or I used my coffee creamer milk and sugar to taste. And then I blended mine, and it made a frothy tea, and I made it out of blackberry tea, but generally they say use black tea, and black tea is the tastiest tea. But it also can aggravate one's insomnia. I couldn't find it. This is the shadiest spot I could find. It's very hot. It stays hot here until after Halloween. Okay, and then I swapped out those big cans. You know, if you buy those big cans of fruit, that gives you 6 servings of fruit. But if you're like me, it's like, what am I going to do with all this stupid fruit? Well, you can make a nice pineapple upside down cake with your pineapple. And last night I switched out Jan from New York City's Apple Brown Betty dump recipe, and I made a apple pear Betty. That was good, you guys. And it's no special ingredients. That's what you want to find when you're trying to eat your stockpile down, which is what I'm doing now. I'm going to be eating my stockpile down and spending very little money on food. Although I am going to Aldi's today because Henzo mentioned in his meal plans, Aldi's has good pizzas for $2. So I'm going to be buying one of those. Among other things like shortening. Okay, and then now moving on to the stockpile, there was 2 good videos. One was a tour of TJ Prepper's stockpile, and one was a tour of KY Granny's stockpile, and then I did a tour. My eyebrow is itching. Okay, my stockpile is boxed up. I have a lot of food, and I really wouldn't want to keep it in my kitchen. So mine's boxed up. TJ Prepper has hers in cabinets, and she also cans a lot, and that's on her channel. Someone was mentioning jam, and so there's canning videos on TJ Prepper's channel, so you might want to check that out. And then I really like KY Granny's approach because her stockpile was all cans. And I was thinking, you know, that is really practical because something comes up, you just get your can out, you don't have to cook it. And she made mention of getting those are really good channels, KY Granny and TJ Prepper. But she made mention of getting a camp stove, and they are not cheap now. And you can't find that stuff easily in thrift stores. I used to buy camp gear. I can't find any now. Fortunately, I stockpiled the camp gear I have, and I didn't sell it. I have a gasoline stove, but that scares me because my brother's butane barbecue blew up, and it burned the whites of his eyes. And so we thought, you know, after healed up, he was fine, but it's never been good. So, you know, those little camp stoves are not without risks, and neither are butane barbecues. I prefer briquettes since that. Okay, so I'm eating the stockpile down, and I'm finding recipes that are good for the stockpile. And with the stockpile, oh, my phone, oh my goodness. With my stockpile eating down, I want to buy inexpensive meat and stockpile my freezer full of inexpensive meat. Oh, my freezer is full of inexpensive meat. And then I want to just give you my vegetable curry recipe real quick. This is really good. A lot of people are vegetarians. Okay, you take onions, carrots, and potatoes, and then you saute them in onions, and at that time add your curry powder because the heat will release the the curry, and salt and pepper, whatever spices you want. And then you just add water, and you make like beef stew with no beef. Sometimes I have added, when I first started, I did videos on this. Sometimes you can add tomato sauce. So, okay, and then if you want to kick up your nutrition a little in your vegetable curry, you can add chickpeas. So you cook it just like beef stew. This is a good thing to cook in the crock pot. And then when it's almost done, you add a big bag of frozen vegetables, and you cook those. And then when it's just about done, if you want to add tomato sauce, you add that at the beginning. You can add meat. You can add any kind of meat. You can add chicken. You can add meat. Hamburger is good. A lot of people would make it with lamb. But if you want, you can use tomato paste, like a big tablespoon. But if you're not using the tomato paste, and this is the one I find to be good, especially if you didn't have much money, you add some, maybe a half a can, depending how big the batch, of coconut milk. And then that's going to round out your vegetable stew, so you're going to have a nice meal. And if you have a lot of people, you can make a big pot and make homemade bread, and that is a really good vegetable meal. Henzo mentioned beans, vegetables, and I don't remember if it was rice in his meal plan. His meal plan is on Twitter, and 8 is Enough did a really good meal plan. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be eating my stockpile down using those $5 meal plan foods and the meal plan foods that I got from my followers, and I wrote them all in a notebook. And I'm almost filled up a whole notebook, so I have tons of good ideas. And so that is what I'm doing today. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.